Hello everyone and welcome to the Mio channel. I am Isabella and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful wall hanging. To make this beautiful wall hanging, you will need a spool of Mio string, 4mm single twisted in any color of your choice. Next, you will need a wooden dowel. I recommend a straight wooden dowel if you are a beginner, otherwise you could experiment with driftwood. You will then need a measuring tape, some sharp scissors, and to brush the tassel at the end, you could use a brush or a simple comb. And that's it. So let's start.
We're gonna start with our first batch of strings, and we're gonna place our strings on our dowel using the lark-set knot. So we're gonna fold our first string in half. We're gonna place it over the dowel, fold it behind, and we're gonna put the 2 strands inside the loop. And we're going to pull. So what we're gonna do next is take another string and do exactly the same. So we're gonna fold it in half. Gonna place over the dowel, fold it behind, take 2 strands inside the loop and pull. Okay, the next 2 strings are gonna go on the right and the next strings are gonna go on the left, and we're gonna leave about 5 to 8 centimeters. It depends on the length of your dowel. So again, with a lark-set knot, I'm gonna put 1 string here. And 1 here. Next to each other. And we're going to repeat the same on the other side. There we go. The next step is to make a square knot underneath each of our lark-set knot. Okay, so we take our first string, we create a 4 shape, we take the last string and it's gonna go over the tail of the 4, under the middle 2 and through the 4. Pull our strings and we're going to repeat this the opposite way. So we got a 4 pointing towards the right that sits over the middle 2 string. String number 1 goes over the tail, under the middle 2, through the 4, and we have created 1 square knot. Next, we're going to measure about 5 centimeters, and we're going to take 2 strings from the first knot, 2 strings from the next knot, and we're going to make a square knot here in the middle. Okay, so this is called an alternating square knot. Okay, and we're going to do the same here. Try to keep this at the same level. You can use the tape measure again. And next we're gonna make one with the middle 4 strings. So again, measure about 5 centimeters, and we're gonna make a square knot here in the middle with the middle 4 strings. We're going to take the next set of strings, and once again we're gonna place them in on the dowel with the larkset knot, and once again we leave about the same gap of 5 centimeters. So we're going to put 2 on the left, and then we are going to put 2 on the right. Now we're going to make a square knot underneath these 2 larkset knot and 1 square knot under these 2 larkset knot. Next, we're going to do an alternating square knot at the same level as these 2. So we're taking 2 string from this knot, 2 string from this knot, and we're going to make a square knot align with these 2. And then we're going to take 2 from this knot, 2 from this knot, and we're going to make another alternating square knot here. Repeat it on the other side. And then we're going to make 2 more here, okay? 2 more alternating square knot down here. And to finish, we are going to make 1 final square knot here in the middle. What we are going to do next, so we're going to take the next batch of string and we're going to put 5 strings here with the larkset knot, and then 5 on the right. We're gonna begin with the strings on the left. So we have a 10 string, and we're gonna start with 5 and 5. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the side so they don't disturb me. So the 2 strings in the middle are gonna be our guide strings, and they're gonna help us create 2 diagonal lines of double half hitches. So the guide is always on top of our working strings. So make sure your strings are all next to each other. Okay, and guide on top, we're going to take our first working string. It's going to go over and through. Over and through again. And this is our first half hitch knot. We're going to take our second string and we're going to do the same. So remember, your guide is on top of our string. We're going to go over and through, over and through, and we create our second half hitch. So you can see I'm going on an angle. Next string, we're going to repeat the same. So half, double half hitch, and then the last string for the final half hitch for this diagonal line. Okay, so we finished our first diagonal line. Now we're going to take this string, okay, so it's string number 6 as our guide, and we're going to repeat. We're going to make a double half hitch line here, and we want it to end at the same level as that. So we're going to create a half diamond shape, like a triangle, okay? Okay, so now you've done the 2 line of double half hitches. Okay, so before we're gonna go and close it, okay, to create our diamond, we want to weave inside. You don't have to. You can definitely do an option where you just keep your string straight and you just close with 2 diagonal line or double half hitches. But I want to show you this design where we're going to weave our string. So we're going to take these strings from the right and it's going to go over, under, over and under, and then we're going to move it this side. Okay, I'm going to move this side. We're going to take the next string here. So the first one over, the second one is going to go under, it's going to go over, it's going to go under, and it's going to go over. Okay, so as you can see, we are weaving our internal string. So the next is going to go over, under, over and under. And next is going to go under, over, under and over. Okay, so if you can see here, we have woven our strings inside. Okay, and now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the same string that we use as a guide, okay, and we're gonna make a double half hitch knot here, a line of double half hitch knot here, and then we're gonna do the same here. Okay, so once you've done your diamond, then you can massage our double half hitches diagonal. Okay, what we're going to do is use one guide over the other, and we're going to make a double half hitch to close the diamond. Okay. Once you have done the first diamond, what I would like you to do, especially if this is one of your very first macrame, is to repeat what you've done here on this side. Then I'm going to show you the second design, and then you're going to do it here. So the reason why I want you to alternate from one band to the other is that we want to make sure that each diamond ends at the same level. And especially if you don't have an equal dowel, it might be that the first one, it might be one side a bit smaller than the other, okay? But what we want to do is we want to end at the same level after the first diamond. The other reason is, as you're making that a double half H, you're gonna get much better and they're gonna get much neater. So if you do one band first and then the second one, this one is gonna be way better than the first one, and you can see the difference. Instead, we want to make a very symmetrical piece, and that is why we're making one diamond here, then here, 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 here. So when we look at the band at the end of our macrame, they are more or less the same. Right, so now that you've done the diamond on both sides, we're gonna go and work on the next diamond with a slightly different design inside. We're gonna start in the same way we started the first one, by doing the top of our diamond, so the triangle. Okay, so inside we're gonna make a diamond of square knot. So we're gonna start with the middle 4 strings and we're gonna tie a square knot. We're then gonna take the first 2 strings from the square knot and these 2 strings on the left, and we're gonna make another square knot. I'm gonna do the same on here, so the last 2 strings from the top square knot and the 2 strings on the right. And then we're gonna make one final one in the middle with the middle 4 strings. What we're gonna do next, we're gonna close our diamond like we've done here with 2 diagonal line or double half hitches, and then we're gonna recreate this same diamond on the other side. Once you've done this diamond, what we're gonna do, we're gonna repeat the same on the other side, and we're gonna alternate okay, making diamond to create bands. And I want you to continue your bands until you can join them here in the middle underneath our last square knot, okay? Because everyone has a different tension when they make their knots, and especially the diamond. It might be that you need more or less diamonds than me, okay? So there's no right or wrong. So I want you to continue until your band, when you do this, the diamond join in the middle of your macrame. All right, so once you've done your band, join them in the middle just to see that they sit underneath your square knots. Okay, so once you're happy with that, I'm going to show you how to join the two bands together. What we are going to do next, before we actually gonna join the two bands, we're gonna create a line of double half hitches here, so a diagonal line. We're gonna start from the band on the left. We take the first string, we're gonna put all our string on it and create a diagonal line of double half hitches underneath this that we already done, with no gaps in between. Now we're going to take the other band and we are going to do the same. What you want to make sure at this point that the two line meet in the middle. Okay, so as you do this piece, just double check the angle of your diagonal line so you're happy with the angle. Okay, we're gonna join the two bands now, one guide over the other, double half hitch. You might want to do this on a flat surface so it's easier to join the two bands together. You can even put weight on them to keep them in position before you do this double half hitch knot to join the two bands. And then what we're gonna do next, we're gonna continue this line of double half hitch here, and we're gonna create one going the opposite way. So we're creating a big diamond, and this is the top of our diamond. Now that you have done the diagonal lines of double half hitches, we are going to weave inside. Okay, and we're going to do something different than what we have done at the top. Okay, so we're going to split our strings in set of 3, and the same here. And we are going to weave with a set of 3. So this one is going to go on top, under, and on top. And this next set of 3 is going to go under, over, and under. Okay, and then the last set, which is this one, is going to go over, under, and over. Okay, so make sure that all the strings are next to each other, they're not overlapping, like that. Make sure you don't get mixed up with the strings behind. There we go. Okay, so we have this woven pattern, and then what we are gonna go and do next, we're gonna go and close our diamond. Right, now we have closed our diamond. We're gonna go and do our next diamond, and to do that we want to drop 3 strings on each side of our diamond. So we are not going to use those, and we're just going to use these strings to make a smaller diamond. So we're going to go and do the top, and then I'm going to show you how to add the tassel in the middle. All right, so once you've done this, we're going to go and make our tassel, and then I'm going to show you how to add it on here for our fringe. And we are going to brush it until we are happy the way it looks. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to use the middle 6 strings to fix our tassel. Okay, so 3 on the left, 3 on the right. We're gonna take our bundle of strings that we have brushed, we're gonna put them on top of the 6th string, and then inside in the middle. Okay, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this at the top, we're gonna lift our tassel, and then we are going to make a square knot where we're gonna use 2 strings on the left, 2 in the middle, and 2 on the right to make a square knot. And the reason why we're doing the square knot is to keep our tassel in place. Okay, and you can pull it, and then we will brush it later. Okay, but later on we will just brush it nicely. Then we're gonna lift, and we are going to close our diamond with 2 diagonal half hitches and close the diamond with 1 final half hitch. Okay, so then at this point you can take your brush or your comb and you can finish brushing your tassel, but do not trim it yet. Alright, so we're gonna take the next piece of string, we're gonna place it on our dowel with the larkset knot, and we have one side, the external side, which is about 60 centimeters long, and then the longest string we're gonna count 1, 2, 3 diamonds, and we're gonna place it here with the vertical larkset knot. Okay, so our long string goes over and inside, and then it goes under and inside through here. So when you pull, it's gonna look like a larkset knot. Okay, you want to make sure that this string is a little bit loose but not too loose. Okay, so let me pull it and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so something like that. Okay, this one might change when we add the fringe, we might move it around, but just for now I will put it like this, and then we're gonna repeat the same on here. Okay, so under the the lines of the double half hitches, we're gonna repeat the same vertical larkset knot to fix our string. Right, so you can see this, it's a little bit loose here. Okay, so once we have done this, we need to go and add our fringes. What I recommend, instead of just cutting all your fringes, I will do them in batch of 10 or 20. Place them on your wall hanging, see if you're happy with the length, perhaps you want them shorter or longer, then I'll go and cut the rest. I don't want you to cut all of them, which are a lot of fringes that we need to add for this wall hanging, then regret that you cut them too long or too short. Okay, so do them in a batch, perhaps 10, and see how it looks, and then decide if you want to continue that length or not. And also the amount of string that I have could be slightly different from yours. It depends on the length you have here. For instance, I've got 10 centimeters, but you can make it shorter, and therefore this string would be shorter. Also, you might want your fringes to be very short or much longer than mine. So just play around and see what you prefer. We place all our strings, our fringe strings, on this main string with the larkset knot. So it's the same knot we used at the top, and we just simply putting them on there to fill up our wall hanging and make it really, really nice and have the boho vibe that we love. Okay, so continue like that until you're happy with the amount of strings and the length, and then I'm gonna show you the next step. All right, so once you've done the first set, we're gonna take the same length of string, okay, and we are gonna put them on here. And the idea is that by having our strings all at the same length, once we finish putting them all on, we will have a diagonal line. So I'm going to show you how that looks at the end. But just keep going and keep adding your strings until you're happy the way it looks. And then once you've done this side, we're gonna do it on the right side. And finally, we're gonna add some fringes on this part of the wall hanging. And then we will repeat the same. So adding all the fringes on the other side too.
Now that we added the strings, here on the outer side. We're going to repeat the same in between our square knots on these strings. And that's how we're going to complete our wall hanging before going and cut all our fringes. Now it's time to cut the fringe, and there are different ways that you can cut your fringe. So the first method is to use a measuring tape and to measure the length of each of your string and trim them. Okay, so on the left and on the right. The second method, which is the one I am going to use, is to take the strings from the left and from the right, place them in the middle, and as you can see here, some are longer. So with my scissors, I'll place them in the middle here, I'll trim. And then I take the next strings from the left and from the right, I'll put them in the middle, and I trim this end. And I'll do this with all of them. So that way I know that my left and the right are equal. And the final method, you can place your wall hanging on a flat surface. You can take some masking tape and mark the angle and where you want your fringe to end with masking tape. So you will tape it on your fringe, on the left, on the right, and then trim the ends. So any of these three methods work really well. You need to find which is your favorite and easier to do. And the final part is to brush your tassel until you're happy, and then trim it. Once you've done your fringes, you've done your tassel, you might want to turn your macrame. And you want to look at the fringe from part A and B and see if it needs to be trimmed. Some string might be longer than the others, and you might just want to give it a trim. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's at the back, so you don't really see it, but yeah, double check that you're happy. Okay, so the final part is to take the strands from these strings that we've added, okay, for our fringe. So these strands are not doing anything at the moment. What we're gonna do is bring them in the middle of our wall hanging, and we are going to tie a simple knot. And then what happened is that this is how we're gonna hang our wall hanging. So you can trim these ends, and this is how we're gonna hang our wall hanging on the wall. Well done for completing the macrame wall hanging. I hope you enjoyed making it and you are proud of it. Thank you for joining the Mio channel, and we're really looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now.